Okay. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me for another development stream. Actually, I want to apologize. I've been away for a few days having some technical difficulties, but I think it's all uh, resolved now. Got some new RAM installed on my computer. I think I may need to pick up a new wireless card in the future though, but I think we should be good for today's stream. We shouldn't have any issues. I'm just gonna set up my workspace a little bit. Um, Alrighty, so how's everyone doing on a Monday? Is everyone feeling good, in high spirits? Usually Mondays are pretty downers, back to work, that kind of thing, so... And I've been there, I can appreciate that struggle. But hopefully by tuning into my stream, your day is a little bit better. Just want to turn on my gamepad controller, using my PS4 controller to control our character inputs. On the last stream, we were working on some gamepad-enabled controls for the menus and everything involved around the user interface. Previously, all of our all of the gamepad controls were only working for character inputs, and that's not really acceptable. We want it to be, functional across the board. So, which is why we're setting up the gamepad-driven menu, as you can see here. It's working fairly well, status menu. We're in the middle of the item menu, and the item menu, it handles our character inventory. It's the most complex of all the menu systems, to me anyways. It's just, it involves a lot of features and tracking. Just taking a bit longer than it's, longer than the status menu for sure. Because, it's allowing us to pick up things, and then display what those things are, right? Some temporary artwork here. But there was a feature lacking previously, and I wanted to definitely add it since we're going back to the menu, and it was the ability to sort your inventory. Because previously, your character picks up items. I was just playing as Vance, so pick up these items. They get added to our inventory, but you can imagine if you have several items, it would get messy and confusing, and you want to keep it sorted because the order in which you pick it up isn't, it's not always going to be the optimal setup for, finding which items you want to use and that sort of stuff. So here we are in the menu widget, right? I created a new function here called sort. Yeah, this is the blueprint for setting up our controls. This basically, the section up here under construct, this is basically looking at our character's inventory and basically arranging it, displaying it on screen. We grab all the items, we count them, and apply them into the scroll box. And this is basically controlling what button we're focusing. Let's just go back in here real quick. Yeah. So based on whichever item you focus on, it gives you the details on that right side for, whether it's flavor text or whether it's important data for the player. We have that dialog window so that people can not have to confirm, like press the X button to find out what these items do. So at a glance, you can kind of quickly confirm what certain items would do and what they do not do. I'm rambling here. Okay, so let's get into item sorting. How do we want to handle it? For now, we have right pad shoulder. Definitely our most complex menu, by far. Let's just pull this down. This was the previous functions that were used for the item menu when they were just driven by mouse input. But we want to definitely want to excuse me, I'm just setting up my YouTube chat window. I forgot I had one. Don't want to be neglecting people if they're leaving comments. Okay, now that I have that up on my other monitor, let's see here. Let's grab a branch using Control B, handy shortcut. We're gonna wire that up into our event tick, and we're gonna use the same kind of control because we want to see if if the player's trying to sort their inventory. What button should they use? Let's just, for prototyping, let's use gamepad up, not D-pad up, whoops, top, I believe, is what we're looking for. Face button top. So if you're using a PlayStation controller as a reference, that would be the triangle button. Just for now to test with. We're gonna print string so we know that it's firing. We don't have to go to debug view. And it's gonna say sort begins. I guess begin sort begin sort would be better, but this sounds dynamic like Batman. Okay. And we'll call our function sort. Let's save and compile. Create some new items. Another important detail for the sorting mechanics. Let me pull it up here in my data sheet. It's something that we sort of adjusted. Basically the way the items are structured, because we're gonna have to sort, but you don't just want alphabetical sorting. you want, we want to offer players that flexibility, like of sorting items by type first and then alphabetically. Um, so let's pull that up here just so I have a reference on that I can refer to as well. Um, sort of looks like this. You have different item types. Some of this data is just like placeholder, but you have different item types, and that's important because perhaps you want to sell certain items, right? Maybe certain item vendors will only purchase certain item types from you. You want to be able to filter what the player has based on those types, so it's important to have that well defined. So I've since made those changes, so uh, the sorting action will be the first thing to make use of it, really. I think a function will work. We don't need it out in the open because I don't think we use any delays either. Even this up here could be a function, really. Okay, let's begin sorting. Basically, my plan for this is actually going to be to make use of a bunch of local variables, probably a few arrays, so that we can divide up our inventory items and then by type, and then lump them all back together. And I think that will work. At least in my, I haven't done this before. In these development streams, if you haven't watched before, we're usually working through some real development, some real R&D here. It's not anything I've sort of pre-orchestrated or put a ton of time into with regards to developing anything. You're just seeing like the smooth how-to. This is sort of a watch me work sort of setup here. Okay. Basically, it's going to follow the same route as the... Oh. That's weird. Having some input lag. Okay. Let's get active character. What's going on? What's going on with this right now? Let's just close this. Very bizarre. If I minimize my Unreal, go back in. It's almost like it's simulating the game world or something. Jeez, that is laggy. What's going on here? What is going on? Hey, Missney. Am I pronouncing that right? Likewise. Just getting some chats on my Watch Me Work on this other site where I restream. It's actually has a really cool feature built in, this dual streaming, so you can sort of meet up with other collaborators. Very cool, very cool. Okay. But there is a mystery. Why is my Unreal Engine 4 super slow all of a sudden? I know I've been having some technical difficulties preventing me from streaming. Super Tarska Draga. Oh man. It's a little difficult for me to pronounce that. Super Tarska Draga says hi. What is up, Draga? I'm gonna call you Draga for short. Thanks for dropping into the stream and checking out my game development. However, my editor is like super laggy for some reason. I don't even... What is the meaning of this? Well, that seems okay from a resource perspective. Um, we may need to close the editor and reopen it. I don't know. Like flush out the RAM. I definitely don't think I can continue working with this like unresponsive. Um, Good gosh, no, we can't. Can't. It's so laggy. Okay, hold on. Sorry, guys. Just bear with me for a second. I'm just gonna close my editor and reopen it. The rest of my desktop seems to be really quick and responsive, but Unreal is letting me down right now. Come on, Unreal. I love you. Don't do this to me. Exactly. Exactly, Miss Nee. We're gonna restart the project. Um, I don't mind these. These are just some source control duplicates for backup. We're only developing one project. Okay. Also, for anyone watching, if my audio levels are terrible, please let me know. If the music is too loud, or if I'm too low, or vice versa, whatever the case may be. Let us get into our game. Alright, this editor loaded quickly. Oh, Miss Nee asks, how's my work with networking? Not too much to be like. You know what? I'll be honest. Barely anything. I did like one tutorial on networking, but it doesn't really. Uh, it's not exactly something I prioritize myself because we're pretty much making a single-player adventure game. So the networking should be at a minimum. Um, oh, you mean in blueprints? Pretty good. I'm a blueprint only user. Only programming. This project is blueprints only. Um, so it's pretty. Some areas are pretty intense with blueprints, like a lot of wires and functions, and I try to keep it as neat as possible. But you know, I would say blueprints are my bread and butter, but I only have a bread and butter sandwich in this example. Um, Yeah, we got some errors that we have to clear up. It's going to get cleaned up during this user interface conversion, basically. Um, oh man. Basically, I'm clearing up the user interface to work with our existing version of our characters. So it's gonna be. How can I phrase this? It's gonna clear up those existing references that still exist that some of these widgets have a reference to, just because they were all using the same assets. But we're gonna be replacing those references as we begin to convert the gamepad, or sorry, convert the menus to a gamepad supported setup. So pause menu. Um, hmm. Okay, where are we? Item menu is here. Let's open this up. I'm just gonna stop. I'm gonna stop the music for a second, just so I can think. Um, yeah, this is very unresponsive. Um, can't ascertain as to why that would be. Um, like this is my cue. This that pinging that you see, it's like looking into the matrix or something. Super slow. Um, let's see if we can do some work anyways. You know, we tried to work around it to the best of our abilities, but oh jeez. It's like it's like my hands are like covered in mud and I can't move them. Very bizarre. Oh, your live stream's over, eh? No worries, Miss Nee. Hopefully I'll see you next time. Take care. Okay. Let's see here. So get our inventory. Jeepers. Jeepers. Why is my computer so slow? So sorry. Usually I like to hit the ground running with these streams, but this has just been painful to say the least. You know, checking out my Google Chrome, my OBS. It's very quick, very responsive, right? But Unreal. Unreal, what's going on? Maybe it's OBS settings? Let's take a look. Hmm. I don't know. Doesn't really. Oh gosh, it's just like it's bizarre, very bizarre. Yeah, sure, save. That's fine. Oh, okay. This much more simple level is also just as poor in terms of performance. I honestly, I'm not sure what the issue is, and I apologize for that. Like this looks fine. I'm not seeing any like red flags. Maybe because I started the stream after Unreal was already open. So now if I open Unreal with the stream going on, it'll be better. I don't know. That kind of stuff is beyond me in terms of understanding how computers work. Okay, let's get back into our project. Hopefully this third time will be the charm. I don't know what's going on. Looking at my stream output on YouTube, it says my stream is healthy. It is given a rank of green, which I would imagine is good. Already, I am not liking how this looks in this starting level. Our menu is pretty laggy. There's like a 1 second input delay for some reason. Yeah, about 1 second. Errors were displayed. But that's just references to things that were spawned and then destroyed. That shouldn't be anything to worry about. Okay, let's just blueprint, I guess. Okay, got our item types, and we can close this. Get back into our item menu. Oops. Let's bring it over here. Oh, wow. I don't know what's going on, but look at this. We're back in business, I want to say. Looks like Unreal has, or my computer has resolved any sort of odd issue. Okay, let's go into our sort function, pull that out here. This is not the level we want to be working in, though. Let's go check out our downtown city level. Finally. I wonder if that issue, if we can replicate that issue and find out how that happened. I mean, you typically don't want that. Oh, look at all these references we gotta fix. Okay, that's fine. Okay. We wanted to get the inventory, and we're gonna make use of a for each. Let's close this. Yep. So we're gonna execute. Basically, if I want to give you like a little play-by-play of what we're trying to build, we're trying to make the menu so that we can sort it. So let's pick our character, go pick up some items. Oh, cool, look at these items. Come to our item menu and be like, oh, these items are great, but I don't like this order. This is the order I picked them up in. And we want to be able to call a instruction on the triangle button to sort them. To set that up, from our inputs, we just wire this down here so that sorting can begin. And let's compile. Cool. So now this button will execute this function. And basically, we are going to, whoops, how much of this is going to be the same? We need to honestly collect and count them. Which is, so counting all the items in our inventory and then displaying them into, I'm gonna go ahead and say we may need to duplicate this and bring it in. I'll get some music back on for the background, some ambience. Okay. Basically, for each item in the array, we're gonna have to check. We're gonna have to check and see. Basically, based on the item type, we're gonna do something with each one. And what we're gonna do is dump them into a local array of I think each item type the structure would be an item. It would be basically a temporary inventory structure, which would be an array of item data. Okay. And let's call this local let's use this abbreviate. Let's use this like tag it as sort underscore restoratives. We actually let's compile. That's interesting. In 4.15 they changed how this looks. We have a set and a map. That's interesting. Different variable types. We have to read up the documentation on this. Anyways, we want an array. And basically, well, we're going to want to set it, but we also are going to want to clear, basically on execution, we want to clear this array. Now, my understanding is that this, these local variables only exist inside this function. So I'm not sure if this is a necessary, if this is needed. If once the function is over, is it automatically cleared? I don't know, but I'm putting that there just for, I don't get any issues, and I'm trying to find out what it could be. We're basically going to sort restorative, and we don't want to set the array. We are looking to add to that array. And I think what we're going to do first is we're going to add this item to this. And when it's completed, we're going to print string And let's append, probably print string up here. Make use of this feedback so we can get our readout. Okay. Added to local for sorting. Sure. Let's put space in the front and grab the item name and plug that in like that. So only restorative items will be sorted right now. We can do this for each of them after. It's going to get pretty crazy, I think, in terms of wires and complexity. Next thing we want to do here is we want a readout of everything in this array. So, we'll do another for each, but this time of our local array. And for each item, we're just gonna read what's in there. And let's use like a yellow, so it stands out from that blue one. And when it's completed, we'll just say I'm done. Whoops, not dying, done. Okay, save and compile. Let's test that out. For the sake of testing it out, we probably want more than one restorative item. Right now we have this e-canteen. I've made a let's just make a new one from excuse me. I've made a quick, first aid I want to rename this. Yeah, item masters. That's fine, but we definitely want to check out the. Oh, it's the wrong type. That's why. What's going on? I can right-click on these, but not this. Create child blueprint class. That was very odd. Okay. We want blueprint underscore first aid kit. Sounds fairly generic, but ultimately it will be a let's just set the default type here. It is going to be restorative, so you can see it became green as we've set up the instruction in the parent class. We do have an icon here actually. Let's re-import our canteen. There's the e-canteen. Open that up. Save it. I actually think this naming convention is a little cumbersome. So just getting rid of that repeated item, just cleaning up the naming conventions a little bit, making things shorter, more to the point, less verbose. Okay, so let's import the first aid kit icon. Here it is, pretty basic. Set that as UI. Nothing fancy. It's an icon, but we can apply it to our first aid kit as sort of a default. So now we have two items that exist. Let's call this first aid kit. And item details, we'll put as restores, fallen, not restores, revives, fallen allies from knockout status. Max stack, can stack, I don't know, we'll put it 2, can stack, sure. Maybe 1, whatever, it's fine. Sell value 200, purchase 2000. Temp string for text. We need to figure out what that is referencing. Clean that up in the parent. It's a kind of a bad tooltip. And item class, well, it would be our first aid med. First aid kit. Okay, let's grab this. Whoops. Not the escape rope. We want item master. Just want to see where this is used. Find references. Now we're setting it here. Oh, on pickup. Yeah, on pickup we're using that text. That's a little unnecessary. We could. Why do we have this? Oh, just so that we can apply it here. But this is weird. Like, look, it's kind of unnecessary, right? When you do this, you can type here. And actually, you don't need to type it. You just put it inside of the actual set variable. Inventory full. The logic here is that this gets displayed if you can't pick up the item. The reason being because it's full. And here we're displaying what the item is that you're picking up. In both cases, all we have to do is this. It's nothing crazy. Okay. And with that, it should work just fine. So, picked it up, first aid kit and e-canteen. And there they are, in the order we picked them up. First aid kit, then e-canteen. Let's make one more restorative. Let's make 2 more temporary restorative items. Let's call them BP underscore steak skewer. And create child again. BP underscore picnic lunch. All of which we can safely assume would restore HP. Let's quickly set the data for these. What's important is the category being set to restorative. Item name is important because we're organizing by the alphabetical after item type. Yeah, I'll call it picnic lunch. A sandwich. Yeah, sure. That's a perfect description of the item. And call this beef steak skewer. A delicious steak skewer. Apply it as restorative. So you know, looking at my thumbnails already, things are looking as they need to be. So, whoops. I think now we have enough items to play with here. Oops, not status. Item pack, yep. So, we got our cool item list. If we hit triangle, we can see the function fire. Sort begins. I should make this display longer, actually. And I have to enable the input for like a one click, because it's calling every frame that button's pressed. But we can see all the items get added for sorting, and then it's inside the temp array, which is awesome. Awesome. Which I think means that my plan will work. Okay. I'll keep this down here. Okay, so if it's restorative, we add those items in, and this is very interesting. So all the items are contained inside of our local array. Hope this isn't risky, what I'm thinking. Once we apply all of our items to the local array, basically dividing them up by type, because we'll have things like sort underscore hunting tools. Whoops. But this kind of setup. For each of these, they're going to get sorted into a temporary directory. And once they're stored in the temp, in the function here, basically right here, I think we want to clear our actual character's inventory. Whoops. We want to clear this, which sounds risky. We're emptying out our inventory. But I believe it'll all be kept and then reapplied back in. Okay, so we know that these items exist in the sort restoratives. So for each one of these, we want to I think we want to add. If we want to add unique, I'm not really sure what the difference is. Maybe I should do some Googling after. Not really getting any detailed tooltip here for each. Okay. So now. We want to add these items in, right? Add them back into the array, but we haven't established their order. We have to get their item name. I'll throw this back out here. Make use of our screen space. want to do is... Actually, what we want to do is apply a retriggable delay. I can put it at 0.1. It's just to prevent it from firing several times, and it'll also make it work on release, which is cool. What we want to do here is apply a gate as well. Enter and exit. Yeah, we'll start this gate open. But we're going to have a sequence that closes immediately. And after this is done, we're going to open it back up. So only after sorting is done we can resort. To be honest, we just put a delay in there too. Yeah, this gets a little confusing. There we go. Save and compile. Now we're back inside of here. Let's see. Sort. Alpha. Basically, I want to see if we can. We may need to divide this again by. Sorry, I'm so sorry for this music. It's so weird. Okay. Let's think about this. How do we want to handle it? We need to establish the array index. That's the sequence. Let's look at all our array options. We can insert at a specific index, which may be what we want. But the order it's inside here is kind of determine the logic for saving the order based on Hey, Huli, how's it going? Sorry, guys. I am so sorry. Yeah, welcome to the channel, or welcome to the stream. Just got lost a little in thought and lost track of the comments. Thanks for watching. Yeah, so, thanks for joining in on some game dev. We're building in item sorting to the functionality of our game. So we're going to give you guys a walkthrough, grab one of our characters. So here are some, restorative items. If we go to our item menu, we can see we have 4 items here. Now, maybe you pick things up and they're in the order you pick them up in. I mean, that's pretty basic logic, but you want to sort it. So we have, if I hit the triangle button here, sort begins and it's done, right? What we want to do is, when we press this button, we want to be able to actually reorder everything based first by item type. So we have to break up the inventory by item type and then organize it by title alphabetically. So that's sort of what we got going on here in the sort function. We have, get the character's inventory. Then for each one, oh Jesus, what was that? Oh, sorry, double clicked by accident. Okay. So for each item in the inventory, we check what its type is, and we dump it into a local array of that type for sorting. So now we have them all divided, and we can reintroduce them back into the inventory afterwards. Because you can see here, once we divide up all the items locally, we clear out the character's inventory so we can reinsert them in the order that we want. So I'm just looking at these items here, deciding how I want to do this. So we have for each item in the array, and I think, we want to take that sorted restoratives. Basically, this is where all of our pick health items, e-canteen, picnic lunch, steak skewer, all those placeholder restorative items, they got dumped here. What we want to do is find out how we want to make it alphabetical. And I don't think we can use the same one because those still exist inside of this array. We need to have a sort alpha, a local alpha array, just to arrange the items of each other local separate. So this is going to become a very dense function, I think. For each item we check on name, and we want to can we assign? We only have to work with the name and assign probably a numerical value. Let me just do some quick research. Let's see. Interesting. Looking up on the Unreal forums, there appears to be some way to filter an array. Right. Does that not work with strings? Interesting. I wonder if there might be a workaround to do this. Yeah, change variable type, that's fine. So we're working with the name. You know what? Alternatively, another way to do this would be to have a value, a default value on the struct, which would basically have a hierarchy that would be linked with the item type. And then we would only need to it probably will be less expensive too, if I think about it. Because what I'm thinking of doing is grabbing all of the names and, well, adding them to the array. Oops. So we have an array of just the names for, let's get rid of this. We have an array of just names for our restoratives. Maybe something driven off of an insert. So we're adding in that name in a certain position based from that name. Basically on select. And I think it's just going to become really, really cumbersome. When I look at the Unreal forums, they are of the mindset to suggest that in Blueprints it's very expensive to do this way, and based from their suggestion, it excuse me, I'm inclined to agree. It's going to become very elaborate. And it may be easier to edit the struct. Oh, this sounds like a weird yogurt commercial. I'm going to switch it. Okay. Do we want... Grab our item structure. Data. We would have a new variable. And honestly, it would be a... not a name. It would have to be an integer. That would indicate alpha numeric. That sounds like a reboot. Is that term being used appropriately? Yeah, so the alpha numeric value. And I would say the tooltips used for sorting items. Oops. Jeepers. Okay. One thing I do want to fix while I'm here, these are using strings, and honestly, they probably should be using text. And this is because a string is a piece of text, but text is used for localized text. And we should be using it if it's text that we plan to use for language translations. Which is probably it's actually accurate. It's more accurate. So a few things we'll probably need to shift around in terms of the blueprints. Okay, let's move this up the chain of command and keep it right after name. Yep, alpha numeric value. So basically, this is how our struct looks. Miscellaneous is default 0. Item name. Let's put these defaults in. Item details go. Let's save that. Let's take a look at our, whoops, not our first aid kit, our master. And yeah, you gotta clean this up, as I suspected. There may be some other areas as well on all widgets that have to do with items. Just because those references will get broken by that change. IMS structure. Whoopsies. We need to edit there's another item structure, or blueprint structure rather, that references this structure. So we have to just go in and reapply it. Because all of these are bad now, right? The blueprints they have conflicts. Let's run to our structure folder and item stack. Here it is. If we save this, yeah, blueprint item structure. Come back to our master. And we try to plug these in like this. Oh, whoops. Oh, that's my bad. S item. Oh, let's call it item stack again. Let's save. Whoops. Used to be an array. Save. Come back here. S_item stacking. This is coming from the character, player character. Let's jump over to our parent class. Just compiling to get the data for the references. It's really easy to jump around through the blueprint that way. Okay, now that that's compiled, yeah, we just want to put that in something like this. Save, compile that. I should double check this ads inventory, because that may have been affected. We jump over here, we have our notes, and we have to just link these up, or else that data will be missing once we add these items into our inventory. Well, as this compiles, I'm just going to use the washroom. Alrighty. Well, what did I miss? Why didn't this compile? Did I not click it? Oh, I goofed. I've made a terrible mistake. So... the item sorting isn't exactly dynamic, but it's okay, because we actually do know what items exist and don't exist. If you can imagine, imagine items existing on a spreadsheet. They would all have a order assigned to them, and it's similar to our struct, which also has an order assigned. We can filter based on that order. Oops. Okay, so the item menu obviously has those references we need to fix. I just want to make sure the item menu, the master, master's good now, right? Compile, all this should go away. Correct. Yeah. The master inventory item has a lot of dependencies from the main character's parent. So now we cleared that up, let's clear up our menu. So let's hop around here. Target array. And we want to link up this and this. Compile and review. There's one here that's not required, but important. There we go. Okay, so let's test. Let's test all that stuff. It looks like we're picking up items just fine. Oops, wrong one. Item menu. Yeah, you may notice all these items no longer have text. That's because we changed the variable type, so now their default settings got reset. But that's cool. That's exactly what we need. I'm happy to clean up the item structure, make it a little bit more coherent. Okay, so let's set a default. First aid. Let's see. Okay, between item canteen, first aid, picnic lunch, and steak skewer. So these are all our restorative items. A beefsteak skewer. Item master. Maybe saved, compiled. Now, once that compile is done, let's move first aid over here. So between these three, this is our order in terms of hierarchy. We know that these are all of our health restoring items. These are all the restorative items in our game. We know that because it's as per our game's design. Items aren't being made procedurally. So taking advantage of that fact, we can assign the alphanumerical value to each one, where E-canteen, which is first, would have a value of 0. First aid could have a value of 1. Picnic lunch would have a value of 2. And where are we? 3. So all of these have assigned values. Okay. Oh, I got a notification on Watch Me Work. Oh, I just got paired with another streamer. Hey, Leslie. Always nice to be friendly and say hello. For people watching on YouTube, those dings are the notifications from the Watch Me Work chat. Okay. So, the great mystery. The great mystery is that these are set here, but they are not set on our widget, which leads me to believe over here. Places item into inventory pack, slot menu. We assign the S item data. Oh, silly me. Silly me. This is exactly why we don't see that data. Because we need to set it on the inventory button, which probably has some broken references. Oh, not broken, just void references. Such as these. Icon texture, that's fine. But what about icon name? See? That's important. And on our, on our actual inventory here, we have our item details, which probably has the same issue. Yes, it does. Switch on name. So there's a complex, hold on, I'm using that word a bit loosely. It's not exactly complex. We were calculating some functionality in like a, troubleshooting phase basically, and I left some junk here. Item details, that's what plugs in here. We can also get rid of that. Okay, now then, once we load in here, we should get our data. Perfect! Hooray! Hooray! It's working as intended. And now finally we can continue in this sorting. I think we can make this back into S item data for our purposes. Julio has a few questions. Oh my god, it was so far. Oh, Julio asks, is it possible to change the color of notifications on the HUD? Absolutely, and that is next on the list after the item menu is actually done. And then we'll update the widgets for everything affected by those item menus, such as the notification. And another question, what does it mean to get paired with other streamers? Well, Watch Me Work has this feature where you can get paired with other streamers and check out what other people are working on, kind of like a means to network in a way. So, on my stream page on Watch Me Work, there's another video beside mine of another streamer who's also live. That is basically what it means. Alphanumeric value. Let's grab our sort. Let's clear that out. Basically, we're going to not add, but insert. Whoops. There's a few things I want to test out. Let's see if we can insert it at the alphanumerical value. Then once it's complete, we basically append wait, which one is which? Now I'm confused. We are appending. Okay, we're appending the sorted alpha with our main one, and I want to see if it duplicates our items, because we don't really want people to be duping. Those dupers. Dupers is a word I haven't heard in a long time, since since like Diablo 2, when people would dupe items. And then after that's appended, we're basically going to I think we're going to make use of another append. Put it into here, apply it back into our main characters. Inventory, and then I think call refresh inventory. Isn't there something called that here? Don't we have a custom event? We do. Oh, here, call function. Okay, and then that should so we'll put our done text up here. Let's see where that leaves us. Well, why does this look like that? It's a little bizarre. Let's open up the item menu, save and compile. Cool. Okay, we have our inventory, and if we hit triangle, Yeah, we duplicated our items. Um, duplicated our items. Let's take a very selected approach. Let's pick up the steak and pick up the first aid afterwards. Okay, well, I forgot it was called beef steak skewer. Excuse me, beef steak skewer. A little misleading. Because that's inconsistent. It should be steak skewer, and just so we can get a clear readout. Okay. Whoops. Okay. Here's your items. We got two of them. Sort. And when we sort, doesn't really we're not duplicating, which is interesting, but it's not sorting. That order should shift, right? Steak skewer. Steak skewer is set for value of 3, and first aid is set for a value of 1. That should definitely switch. So let's see what's going on. We know that this works fine. We clear out our arrays. Or we clear our inventory. That's fine. And for each item in sort, we insert it. This music. Okay. Let's print string this so I know what's happening. Added for alpha noon sort at whoops. Yeah, at position 1 or at wherever. After that happens, you're then appending our sorted we append our sorted alpha. I think whatever's going wrong is going wrong here. Oh, jeez. Coming down with a bug, eh, Julio? Feeling sick? It's never a good feeling. Maybe you have to go home and rest to stave off something worse from happening. Like, what if your cold evolves into like a like an epidemic. Like that movie Contagion, and it takes over the world. Okay, let's see what's happening now that we added those print strings. Actually, real quick, just so I can read it easier, let's put that as red. Items, okay, got 3 items. They get added for sorting at, oh gosh. Oh, those are all correct. Nice commenting, Julio. The Last of Us, oh my gosh. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to become, what are they called? Not zombies. In Last of Us, clickers, yeah. Disgusting. Cool character design, though. Very effective. Anywho. Yeah, we are sorting them in here. Let's skip this process here. And let's just append our inventory with the sorted gosh. Append it here. Then what are we doing? So the order has been append array to another array. Add position 1 and 3. Okay, so we just remove them. Removes them outright. Maybe we should be using the set feature instead of append. Perhaps. Let's try that. So we get our, let's comment this, reorder here for alphanumeric, and we're basically gonna set this here. inventory. I'm curious, let's try the set feature. Which will work in this one case because we're only sorting by one item type. Well, looks like we've just erased it from our inventory. Which is not exactly what we want to be doing. Why that's the case, I don't know. We're inserting from our restoratives, which we create locally. We take each of those and add them to, and organize them by alphabetical. Then we set that to exactly. Oh my gosh, excuse me. Oh no, that's correct. That's a little odd because let's just apply it like this. See what we get. See what's really happening. So, 1 and 3, they're removed. Perhaps because it's local. So I only guess that's why it's happening. It's a local variable, so setting it here won't exist. Maybe. Then refreshes inventory. When we refresh our inventory, very interesting. adds reordered items back into inventory. And I believe it will be done by a for loop, or for each. Yeah, I don't think we can use the set feature. I do think, however, we can make use of this. I'll grab that out here. Putting green contrast. Super colorful print string. Okay. Yeah, it seems to me like can't use set. I think that was a bad call. I still think it would work on a local setup though. Or a non-local setup. Type of function, I think you could set an array to an exact existing array. Hold on, we want to append an array to another array. Like this. That might be why it's empty, because you probably were dumping out the yeah, 0 items. One and 3, 0 and 1. Interesting. So let's take a look at this now. That is happening right here. We are getting sort. In red, we can see that everything is being assigned based on the numerical value. We then append that value to our zero and 1. So it's still okay. I need to break out this print string even further. I really want to see what's happening. After this is done, we can go ahead and append it. But in our sorted alpha, what's in here. Put this back to yellow. Item name, position, and we'll use the actual array index. Added for so inserted back into inventory at this slot. It's actually not inserted, it's added. Here we have sort alpha num contents. Let's see. So your adds it for sorting, positions 1 and 3. How odd. It's not showing anything inside of that array, despite the fact that we added the red section. We've added location 3 and location 1. But alpha num contents is showing nothing. And that 1 and that 0. Very interesting. Okay. Let's see here. I wonder if these need to be swapped. No, but that doesn't make any sense because we're not appending anything to anything until here. It's a little concerning. Oh my gosh. Set. If append array, add unique, find item, insert, length, remove index, remove item, resize. I wonder if I could use add unique. And we have an output, so we could check against the output of add unique. Well, it's 12:30, and I usually end the stream around now. Because it took pretty much a half hour to get going. Okay, position 0. Nothing is at position 0. Life stakes here inserted at 0. Oh, of course. Gosh. Ugh. I have a hunch that this would just work so smoothly outside of a function, without, or not even outside of a function, but with actual variables. Here's what I'm going to try. Let's troubleshoot that now. Let's call it alpha non-sort. Let's make it an item data structure. Change this here. Excuse me. Default is empty. So let's grab this guy. Insert. Each item inside of our sorted structure, we are applying into here. And we want to apply it at the desired value. Now let's scan the alphanumeric for the contents. So for each one, we print a string on its name and location. Let's see what we got. 3 and 1. This is tripping me out. I feel like there might be a weird clear somewhere. What's odd is that there's nothing in here. Because apparently we're inserting them. Yeah. Insert's not working for some very odd reason. I don't know why that is. Oh, let's just troubleshoot this, see what's happening. If we use an add, yeah. Add works. We can see the contents are added. Let's add a test variable here. Maybe I'm abusing local variables. Let's see. Every time we have sort restoratives, let's just replace it with this. Whoops. Okay, we've replaced all the sort restoratives with this new variable. Let's see what's going on. Okay, one thing I want to do that's been bothering me. Let's, oops, add this for 5. We want to insert it into here. Whoops, oh Jesus, okay. Plug that in here, and we're inserting into the alphanumeric value. Oh, um, what's our issue? Oh, yeah. We need that. Oops. There goes our music. Okay. Let's check this out again. Gosh, okay. So, we hit. I'm on the wrong menu. Getting impatient. Okay. Hit sort. Oh my god. Very bizarre. So, well, what we've learned is that we're not abusing local variables. It's just that insert doesn't seem to work if nothing exists. I think. I think if it's empty, um, maybe it doesn't want to insert anything. Let's try this. Just append it first. So it should, I think it should duplicate our items. Shoot. Now that order is kind of imperative. Right. Well, that's kind of neat. Jeez. I think went kind of crazy. It's like exponentially duplicating everything. Into slot 3. So that's the value. Um, well, perhaps. Oh, I'm a goofball. Ugh. Okay. Forgot you can do that. Oh, jeez. Okay. Yeah, we don't want to insert. I think we want to do it this way. I think this works. Because I recall dealing with a similar issue before. Size to fit. Yeah. I think that's the issue right now. It's 0, and trying to add stuff in. Item. Let's grab this, plug that in here, and dump that here. Well, we added some bonus stuff, but at least it's in order. That's kind of cool. Don't know what these are. But let's take a look at what happened. Because it's definitely closer to working now than it was before. Okay, we got our items. They get added in at their ranking. For some reason, there are additional items in the inventory, which I don't think anyone wants. Did we clear that? Oh, I see. I see. Okay, so this is actually fully functional, and just like always, it's doing exactly what we're telling it to do. We are getting additional positions of items because we're inserting items into an array based on our alphanumeric value. Um, and because these are, for this example, positions 3 and 1, it's creating values for 0 and 2, just empty slots, because that's what's in the array element. So what we should do is for each item from our alpha sort, we should honestly be dumping this over. And I think you can use a simple add. We're putting it back in with this new order. But we only want to do that if, and what's our if? Our if is if the item value, if the name is not equal, wait, is that right? If you just compile, we get a blank field or what? But I'm confused. Okay, we convert it to a string. And for the string, we can check against if it's equal, right? Or not equal in this case. And basically, if it's not empty, we add it in. That way we get rid of all of our empty friggin' position slots. So really the reordering happens in two phases. Wait, what? Oh shit, what am I doing? Yeah, if it's not equal to. So this should work. It's not going to be perfect though, because here in our orange section, we actually need to figure out how we're going to handle duplicates. And we can figure that out. Not too hard. So I want to work on this base functionality here. And now this should be our new variable. What an awesome naming convention to have. New var 0. Okay. Hey, we did it. Wait, what? Hold on. We did not do it. Not at all. Not at all. Let's go back. Just want to quickly reset, jump back in there. I honestly got a little confused. Let's see. Okay, what's causing this duplicate, I believe is this right here needing to get cleared. I think we need to clear it before we're adding in variables. Probably right here. You should clear it. It's like a giant process of moving arrays, moving items into arrays, adjusting those arrays, and then so now that should be clean. Oh Jesus. Not equal to empty. Yeah, so now we're getting our two variables that are not This is interesting. Whatever's coming into here is lacking this data, which means whatever we're adding here maybe, is that right? It doesn't seem right at all. Oh, Jesus! That's always these small, tiny things. Like, this is nuts. Of course. Of course that's not working. When you're missing that critical data. Beautiful. Look at that reordering. Okay, let's pick up the energy canteen. Now this should probably end up going to the very top because it's position 0. Amazing! Picnic lunch is actually... Oh no, that's a shift. Sweet. So our reordering works. No duplicating. Now it'll get a little bit more complex once we have multiples of an item. So as you can see, picnic lunch, first aid kit, first aid kit and e-canteen, those are at their max capacity. They're at red. Or the number's red. A picnic lunch, however, can stack. So let's, as soon as we finish solving this one problem, let us add more. Let's add 2 picnic lunches. Or I guess an easier. Let's keep it up with this 2 steak skewers and a first aid kit. So, actually already these are kind of not behaving correctly. Those should have stacked into a single item. However, let's just see what's happening with our logic here. Yep, they have fused. Which is probably not what you want. But let's take a look at our steak skewer. Max stack is 10. Can stack. Oh look, that should have been on. That is probably why we're getting that weird behavior. 2 steak skewers, first aid kit, and there they are. And if we sort, so despite that fact, I was turning can stack on. Max stack is 10. Inventory structures are equal to 1. Okay, so the issue that's happening now, the issue, if you will, other than the fact that our items aren't counting properly. Max stack, scan stack, that should be working. Oh my gosh, of course. Checks if the item details are this. It doesn't even make sense. It should be like this. That's why it's not stacking. Good lord. Okay. The issue is that we add that information. So that those two stakes come here, and they both exist, and then we take one stake, add it into its ID, which is 3, and then we do the same, and then it overwrites. It overwrites itself. We definitely don't want that to happen to the player. If you're gathering materials for a quest, and you sort, you definitely shouldn't. Cool, so now that's 2. That is correct, and it feels good. If we sort, yeah, we're at 1. Okay. So we don't need this. We know the item sorting is working. We can get rid of some of these excessive print strings. Actually, what I would like to check is I want to see if I can set this back to our temp or local variables. Let's put all of this back. Whoops. What am I doing? I'm grabbing the wrong one. Okay. Find this. Wherever it's found. Perfect. Delete it. Save and compile and test it. Whoops. That's fine. Sort restoratives. There is an error. Oh, what do you mean you cannot be found? You exist right here, dude. Maybe it's my lost memory reference or something. Cool. Now if I compile, it's good. Oh Jesus. Okay. That's a little bizarre. Well, I guess you can't do that replace function with local variables. It probably thinks that you're replacing it with the standard one. Compile. Cool. Let's test. It should work. So the ties, bada boom, we're good. We are good. And I can probably also find references and replace those for the alpha as well, because that really doesn't have to exist outside of the sorting function here. Why not just use this? It's probably better. Oh shoot. I can't see. Items. Sort. Cool. Cool. Okay, so we've created the base. This messy, kind of, I don't want to say crude, it's just messy, version for sorting items. Now, the issue we're having is on our item stacks, there's some overwriting that's taking place here. What we have to do, basically, is we're inserting the item into an index based on the ID. But if we have a stack of 10 items, all those items, of course, have the same ID value. So we need to offset or increase that based on if it already exists. So what we can do is something like this. In our sort alpha, let's check if it contains a specific item. If it does, and the item we're checking for is the array element, now let's put a not here. If it does not contain it, it gets dumped in nice and beautifully. But if it's false, meaning that it is there, we need to do some work. It's still going to use this. It's still going to be that item, but we're going to have to I wonder if it's as simple as adding or inserting an item, because I believe insert it may actually shift things down. And then we will be able to get all our items in there. Yeah, this will print string that. Let us quickly test. Let's find references. Cool. Clean that up. So we have two state skewers. If we sort, we've lost all of them. How neat is that? So hold on. We're adding items into our array. Oh, gosh. Maybe this is throwing off. We want a not Boolean. We don't want it to be like this. This is what we want. Let's try that again real quick. Oh, we've got it. We've got our item sorting. Okay. Awesome. I'm getting super hungry, so I'm going to close the stream, and I wanted to. And I thought maybe we wouldn't be able to solve this on stream, but I'm really, really, really happy that we were able to. So, this is sorting. This is sorting. Basically, we have divide into types, right? And then in each type, we're going to be reordering within the, we're going to be taking each type, right? So restoratives, we're going to reorder it, and then we're going to apply it back into itself. And then we're going to append all of them back into the characters inventory. And that's it. So it should work. I'm going to break for lunch and test, well, not test, but finish this off, item sorting, and hopefully we'll have a quick update on our social media, and you guys can check that out. Have some cool videos on our YouTube page. We'll upload a quick look where I re-explain it. Alrighty, thanks for watching. As always, if you guys like and subscribe to us on YouTube, it's super helpful. It helps us probably more than you think. And following us on social media is also a huge help too. So anyways, until next time, hopefully I'll be streaming around the same time, 12:30 tomorrow to 2:30. Alright, because I don't know how to end a video, I'll just say bye.